Survivor's ready. Go!
Travis Spoken.
Boston Rob and Amber are gonna do it.
This is a business trip, as I like to say.
You, Brad Culpepper.
I'm tired of you and the fucking chicken.
You can call me the puppet master. They can be my little puppets.
It's not like you're making me deal with the devil here.
You get to milk your own milk, I guess.
Who the hell voted for me?
Chicken.
We got enough rocks here, too. We could build a pretty decent shelter just using rocks.
I'm supposed to talk glamour to you. You understand that better?
Direct from Hobart, it's time for the only Survivor podcast in Australia dedicated to Survivor, bringing you all the latest interviews, episodes, and opinions from the greatest reality show on the planet. It's Survivor Oz, and here's your host, Ben Waterworth.
Hello everybody, and welcome to Survivor Oz, Australia's #1 TV and film podcast, as we come to you for a yearly episode where we like to celebrate a special little anniversary, an anniversary where we were born. Yes, it's our birthday episode on this day 4 years ago. It is the moment that Survivor Oz started and has since turned into what it is that you are listening right now. And without one woman putting something on my wall on Facebook, this show would not have started, and we have to get her on once a year at least. We'll usually get her on a few more times than that, but on this day at least, to celebrate the occasion, I do of course speak from Survivor Gabon, the one, the only, the mother of Survivor Oz, Miss Gillian Larson. Gillian, welcome back to Survivor Oz.
Well, thank you so much, Ben. And the mother of, well, you know what? It was just a little idea. I tapped across to the other side of the world, and you picked it up, and you have run with it. So a perfect example of making things happen when something's put in your path. So congratulations, and thank you. You've been an amazing supporter of Reality Rally ever since, so thank you. Well, and
yes,
the exciting news, tell them.
Is it that I'm going to be there next year?
Absolutely. I think it's super exciting news. So, yeah.
Well, it's funny because I feel that on this episode every year we say the same thing. We're like, oh, I'm going to come one year. Oh, I'm going to be there one year. And sort of like, oh, it turns into next year, then it turns into next year. Well, as you know, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners know, it's 100% I'm there. Everything's booked already. So I'm heading there no matter what. And yeah, I'm very excited to be doing this. And again, sort of when this all started a few years ago, I could have never imagined that I would be, being able to go on a plane and be able to meet you and meet a bunch of all other Survivor and reality contestants and be doing it for a good cause. So it is quite exciting, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's very, very exciting. So it's very exciting that we're having you come all the way from Australia. I mean, that's pretty cool. And you're going to be doing interviews. You're going to be able to take a lot of good content back. You're going to be able to share it. We'll get you on live stream. So we'll make sure that everybody in your world has the live stream link and they can watch you be on live stream. So, yeah, you're going to be at Reality Rally 2016. Awesome.
People are going to be getting sick of me. They're going to be seeing me everywhere, it seems. So I apologise to people in advance if they're sick of seeing my face and my voice, perhaps, in 2016. But this journey, I guess, kind of, Gillian, sort of as we share generally every year on this episode, I'd always sort of wanted to be able to interview Survivor contestants and sort of just never really got around to it. You kind of really set the ball rolling with everything along those lines. And you obviously, you've mentioned on these episodes in the past, you did a lot of sort of posting out there on other people's walls and trying to sort of get connected and everything along those lines. But I guess you kind of never went into it planning like, hey, I'll post this on some random Australian guy's wall and he'll eventually start a podcast out of this. I mean, that was never your plan.
No, absolutely not, and that's what I always say. And I'll kind of liken it to my plan to get on Survivor. My plan was to get on Survivor. It actually turned out that my plan was not my plan, was somebody else's, was for me to get on Survivor, go through Survivor, get off Survivor, and be able to use it for something. So my greeting to you when I saw, I think, there you are in Australia, and I'm always reaching out to people in other countries so that people all over the world will know what we're doing with Reality Rally, and that there are reality stars who actually use their platform, their celebrity, if you want to call it that, people seem to do good and to raise money for charity. So my reach out to you is simply hey, if you're ever interested in interviewing a survivor, let me know. And boom, you were on. And since then, how many survivors have you actually interviewed?
I think we're up to 286, 287, 286, I believe we are.
Wow, and in addition, not just survivor contestants, you've got a remarkable list of survivor people. Again, remind me.
Well, Mr. Burnett, of course, Mr. Charlie Parsons, Russ Landau, Lynn Spillman, still eagerly chasing down Mr. Probst, but, that's still a work in progress. But, I think I'm pretty chuffed with the fact that, we've managed to get, Burnett and Parsons, two really key big people in terms of creating the show. And then, of course, Russ Landau with the music, without him, or one half of him, and Charlie Vandercore, of course, with the soundtrack to what the show we love. And then Lynn Spillman, who's been there, obviously. I mean, you personally would have dealt with her a lot and getting on the shows. Every single Survivor contestant has. So, it's kind of fascinating to think sort of when you put that post on the wall and it was Survivor contestants, it has expanded, I think, slightly. And obviously not just Survivor. I mean, I know through doing Reality Rally interviews, through you, I've managed to interview, was it Clarissa from Survivor Italy? Also, Amazing Race contestants. And, we've also, of course, spun off and now have an Amazing Race format of our show, which Colin and Noah host mainly. And through that, they've gone and reached out to Amazing Race contestants and interviewed them as well. So, it's kind of expanded a little bit. Not just now Survivor, we have Amazing Race Oz, Colin, Noah and I do one on James Bond now, we did one on Eurovision, we did one on Big Brother. Like, it's kind of created a little world for us now, Jillian, not just on Survivor, but it's addictive, it's fun, it's taken over my life for the good thing. Maybe Louise might not agree with that, but it's so much fun, and kind of going on what you said, to be able to interview those people alongside of it, it's been amazing.
And the other thing, I just heard you saying it's addictive. Well, a lot of people say to me, well, why do I? But I want to remind everybody listening that this was an idea that came through my head in the jungle of Gabon, and I call it my jungle vision. But without the hundreds of people that make it happen, I mean, I'm absolutely in awe every year at how this whole event comes together and is totally cool and awesome. Mm-hmm. But it's because I've got so many dedicated people that really help. And it does become, and I'll use the word addictive, because you know what? We know what a difference we all make. And that's what becomes addictive, is that we know that we are making a difference in people's lives. And the reason why I think Reality Rally succeeds is because we all do it for our heart and not for money. We put our hand against our heart and we don't put it out for payment. And that's the thing that makes it work, because there's not a penny in it for anybody. And yes, it's sort of taken over my life, but it's okay, because I do know that it is making a difference. Yeah. I mean, for example, we would never be talking from, California to Australia if I hadn't have reached out and made that little difference with one little clip on a Facebook message. Look at the difference it's made. You have made a difference to people to listen to you interviewing all these people and being able to hear. I would have given my eye teeth to have heard interviews with people who'd been on Survivor. And good grief, Mark Burnett. I used to stalk Santa Monica area. That's the secret. No, it isn't. I used to go there and hang out and hope I was going to see him somewhere. Wasn't sure what I'd do when I found him, but you see, it's knowing that it makes a difference, and you have made a difference because people can hear what you're interviewing about. Well, it's great. I love it.
I see kind of how you and I go about things is very similar, I feel, Jillian, because, I mean, I'm the type of person that once I start something, I need to do it in a way and, again, get addicted to it, and I'm always wanting to try things and, reach out and do this and make sure it's run properly. Some people might laugh at that, but I try my very best. Whereas, like you, similar thing with Reality Rally, you've had this idea, you've got it started, you've gotten people on board, and you've taken it, and then each year it becomes, sort of bigger and bigger and bigger. And, I mean, I sort of am in awe and watching how you handle it. And actually, I don't really think when you first sort of came on here and talked about it and I learnt about it, I don't think I realised how big of an event and how much of organising goes into it. But from sort of talking to you over the years and seeing the videos and the photos and just everything that goes into it, I'm sort of getting a real idea of that. And no doubt in 2016 when I'm there, it's going to be an even case of, wow, this is a pretty amazing thing that gets put together each year. And I mean, on a smaller scale with us, like obviously we don't nowhere near as big as that, but I mean, we've managed to get people on board, our Oslets. I mean, when I first started this, and probably for about the first 6 months to a year, it was just me, and that was fine. I was fine doing that, but kind of how we've expanded, I could never imagine doing this just purely by myself. And the fact that I've got a group of people that do it purely for their love of Survivor. They don't get paid. They often get treated like crap sometimes. They get, criticised a lot out there in the Survivor community for even being a part of this show. The fact that they still stick by our show here and help out and just do it for what they do, it amazes me that it's kind of turned into that. So I kind of think that you and I are very similar in terms of how we go about doing these things that we obviously get quite passionate about.
I agree, and people keep saying I remember when I met with the mayor of Temecula always welcomes everybody. We have this grandiose opening ceremonies on Saturday before the game begins. And the mayor's there, and very often one of the Senate representatives is there, and just a variety of people. But 2 years ago when I went in to meet the current mayor, I know them all, but I went in to say, okay, Reality Rally's up again, and they always play a part in it. So he looked at me, he says, how long are you going to do this for? And I said, why? You think I'm old or something? I said, we're going to do it until whenever. I said, why stop? And that's the thing. I keep hearing people, I mean, yourself, what would have happened if I said, all right, we're not doing it this year? There would have gone your goal to make it to California to be a part of Reality Rally. And you're not just coming to Reality Rally.
No.
You're going to be a big and that is what people say. I know I've had several people that have come from media, and they've heard me talk about Reality Rally. They actually go, look at the pictures, they see the videos. And then afterwards they say, well, what do you think? And they said, my goodness sakes, I would never have thought it was as big as it was. But it's such fun. We have such a good time. And it's such a good cause. And Michelle's Place is the charity that we provide services, funds for the services that they provide. And they provide about 9,000 to 10,000 services a year for free. People can walk in those doors and get taken care of. They can get anything from medical referrals to mammograms to support classes to wigs, prosthetics, and all of that. And there was a young woman that came and spoke to the Reality Stars this year and just represented one of the many, many people that have gone through Michelle's Place and also through other services in the world who have breast cancer. It's a devastating diagnosis. And, she passed away recently. And it made us all realize, wow, that is why we do what we do. And the Reality Stars, we launched about 3 weeks ago. We've got 77 signed up already. And so they come because they want to help. They're raising money and they're talking to people. They come because they want to make a difference too. And the reason I have a fundraising requirement for them is I want them here for their heart, not their ego. So, So I am so glad that I flipped you that little message a few years ago. 4 years ago, good Lord, in October. What year was it? What's 4 years ago from now?
2011, October 24th, 2011.
There you go. So, it was, I just said, hey, if you ever want to chat to a survivor, and here we are.
Yep.
But you took it with it then, so, take my hat off. And I'm so glad you're going to be a part of Reality Rally this coming April.
Well, people
for people listening, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah. People who haven't seen the post, if you're listening to this, I guess on iTunes or sort of YouTube or somewhere else, and haven't actually gone to our website, it's on the post. I always make sure I put it up every year. Luckily I screenshotted it. This is the amazing thing too, Gillian, is that when you actually sent me that, I went back at one point and screenshotted it. So because I wouldn't want to scroll through 4 years worth of Facebook posts to find it now. But so I've forever got that kind of there as a starting point of Survivor Oz. I mean, I think I've mentioned this before too, but like, not only did it kind of start the wheels for Survivor Oz, but it really then also opened up the opportunity for me, and this is a little thing, to be able to actually record interviews at home and do what we're doing right now over Skype. Like, before that message, I was still at the radio station I was at, and sort of every sort of phone interview or that I had to go into the station, and the station I was at, it was sometimes difficult to get studio time, and there were often, double bookings, and if I was doing things out of hours, it was always a real stretch to try and get it done. Whereas by you contacting me, I sort of researched and got equipment and worked it out how to do it from this standpoint. And obviously I'm no longer at the radio station, but kind of between that 3-year period before I was at my current job, and I would then do other interviews outside of Survivor Oz for my radio show, The Brink, it was made possible because I had the technology and I could do it. So also, thank you for being able to set this up and make some other fairly fun, big interviews that I had through my other show happen, because without you, that probably wouldn't have happened either.
No, I don't know. I just was put in your path at the right time, but you ran with it. That's the key. Absolutely the key. I always talk to people because, I do speaking engagements, and and when I talk, I say to people, be aware of messages that are put in your path. And that sounds sort of hokey, but if it's something that you read, or if it's a message on a billboard or a commercial or something, and if it strikes you, like this email struck you, this Facebook message struck you, hey, if you want to interview a survivor, contact me. If people don't act on it, nothing happens. And it might have been the idea that could have started something big. And if you don't act on something, and things are put in your path for you to hop on. So I just think about all those listeners that you have.
Both of them.
Can hear. I mean, that's amazing. They can hear the experiences of so many survivors, and I'm not sure that there's anything really secret anymore, because it used to be that no survivor was allowed to say anything. Whereas now, good grief with the behind the scenes that Jeff does and everything, it's pretty much, there's nothing that's a secret, I don't think. But it's so amazing that all those fans, I'm a fan, I would have loved to have known all those things. What goes on? How is it? How was it for you? Etc. So, yeah,
it's
you're
fun
doing it.
from this perspective too, to learn these things, because I'm still a fan of Survivor, so even in interviewing these people, I'm learning a lot at the same time, and it's fascinating sort of in dealing with contestants and getting them on the show, and then even over the years, the fact that we've had run-ins with CBS and sort of Channel 9, our broadcaster here, from doing this plucky little show from a tiny little office in a Hobart suburb. It's kind of fascinating that I had a conference call with the lawyers from CBS. So would that have ever been possible at one point? I don't know. It's kind of fascinating that the reach that it has happened over the years, and similar to what you were saying before about how long you keep doing this. Well, as long as Survivor keeps airing, I guess we're still on the air. And even when they eventually pull the plug, we're hopefully going to then still have 50-odd, 60-odd seasons to talk about. So there's always plenty of stuff to talk about, I feel, with this little TV show.
Absolutely. And, when you come to Reality Rally, this last year we had 100 stars. We got average between 100 and 120. So that's what we don't aim for it. It just seems to happen because it's what we can manage. Imagine more than that. But we'll go up to 120. And they came from 40 different TV shows. So it's pretty cool that people could meet people from the Food Network shows, Chopped and Hell's Kitchen, MasterChef, Naked and Afraid, Bar Rescue, Survivor, Amazing Race, Big Brother Canada. They're Mob Wives, interesting shows that some people have watched and would love to know more about. So that's why we open it up to any star, as long as they're reputable. And I do research everybody who applies, and I research a show if I'm not familiar with it, because we do want to maintain our code of conduct and everything in deference to our charity, our town. We've got to keep it on the up and up. So pretty cool. You're going to meet all kinds of people.
Well, I'm excited for it, and I was sort of looking at the list, and obviously, sort of right now, I'll be helping you try and recruit a few survivors and that coming along, and you've got a few survivors up there. How's the talks, I guess, going? You got other survivors that are sort of going to be coming, but they're just sort of ironing out a few details right now. They're just yet to be announced, I guess, Gillian?
There are a few, we have a process actually when we send out a shout out with a link and they have to click on it and then sign the form sort of thing. So there's a little bit of a process and it may be annoying to some people, but it's the only way we can keep it in completely, and I'll use the word controlled, nicely. Otherwise it would be chaos. I mean, that way everybody knows exactly what they're doing. So there are several that are what I call in the wings that haven't hit the website yet because they haven't finished sending what we need for them. We don't put them on the website, so we've got a bio and a picture and an agreement from them. It's not a contract, but it's an agreement agreeing that they are going to do the things that we're asking them to do. And then also, the person who discovers how they can get people to read things is going to make a huge fortune. Because we send these shout-outs out regularly, or somebody will reach back to me and say, hey, I haven't heard from you guys yet. And I think, oh, yeah, we've sent out like 3 shout-outs already. So I'll be sending out another one to a lot of people this weekend. And like Randy Bailey, for example, from my season, he came one year and he wants to come back this year, but I see he hasn't signed up yet. So I'm going to give him a little nudge and say, hey, did you get the email? So we'll be sending it out again, and I just heard from Jane Bright from Survivor today. She said, hey, what date is the event? So she must not have seen the shout-out because it has the dates on it. So we'll repeat the shout-out and have, more survivors there. And, we want survivors. We've got quite a few of the current amazing racers coming.
Well, I would assume I've spoken to a few. We've had a couple people on from Worlds Apart, like the Dirty 30, sort of, they're really close, obviously, as you know. And in talking to them kind of on and off air, they, seem fairly keen that it would be something they want to do. And that, I think with that season, if you get 1 or 2 coming, you will get a flow of a bunch more coming because they're kind of that type of close group that will go to these events together. And we've had a few, as you would know, reality events pop up in the last 12 or so months, more so than we've had, which is fantastic. And, they've all sort of gone to them. So I feel as though that you get a couple of them going and then you'll open up a few doors there. And also, too, make sure you do send that reminder out to Brian Hardick. Just want to say that there, Gillian.
He's up. He's on the website.
Mr. Hardick?
Well, if he's not on the website, it's because we're waiting for something from him. But he's signed up. He said he's coming.
I'm fist pumping right now. I haven't seen him on the website yet, so I just want to make sure because, you can see the smile on my face right now just in telling me that, Gillian.
He's signed up. We must be waiting for something. Lily Holland is my celebrity relations director. And so she handles all the logistics for getting the stars on and on the website and, all the information and the fundraising links opened and everything. But he's up. If he's not on the website, it's because we're waiting for something from him. We'll be sending out another shout out to everybody like, hey, get moving. You've got the reason we launch now is, first of all, it's Breast Cancer Month. And secondly, it gives them basically 5 or 6 months to raise the funds that they need. To be here.
Well, I will say as of this week too. Speaking to your crew as well, we've got our team set up now. I see our team is up on our on your website, which thank you very much for that. Which gives us a link now to fundraise. So we're really going to be pushing now from this point forward, not just to get survivors to come along, but from my perspective, Team Survivor Oz, Louise, we're going to push that out there, and I'm going to even bring it to work and see if they can share it around our office and ask for donations and things like that too, because we want to be able to come into that raising a bunch of money and helping out, because we're not just there to do interviews and meet survivors, Gillian. We're there to raise you money where we can as well. So we'll be doing a lot of that in the next 6 or so months.
All right. So let me tell everybody right now how they can donate. So they're listening to you. So they go to realityrally.com and they go to the link that says Teams. I think it says Teams or 2016 Teams, but Teams. And then you drop down in the menu to 2016 Teams and find Survivor Oz. And then you click on the button that says Donate, and it takes you to which, by the way, you'll be hearing from one of our team coordinators. They want a bio from you, bio and a picture.
Sent that in this week. Already did that, so, yep.
And then they click and then they donate. And it's all tax deductible. I'm sure Australia has a similar system.
We do.
We are 01C. There's a tax number there so that people can tax deduct. And no, it's going to a good cause. And if there are some, not only does Michelle's place win from the money that gets raised, but if the teams raise certain amounts, then they combine it with the stars amount and they can skip a challenge in the game. It's a huge advantage.
I was watching the video actually that's on the website of the challenge of this year. I don't know if it was from the team that raised the most money or that finished first. It had like Ashley Traynor on the team, and it was a lovely little video kind of compilation of everything that happened this year. And yeah, I'm just like, that looks so much fun. I just want to be doing it right now. Because I said to you, I said, please make sure that if I can, I want to compete in the actual Saturday event. Like, please allow me to compete if it's possible. And you've gladly said I could. So I'm looking forward to it.
That's why you're on the team. So there are 2 videos from 2 different years. The one that is on maybe the team's page is from 1 year. The one with Ashley Traynor was a few years ago. And then the one that's on maybe the home page, it's another team challenge, a team video was done this year, and that was with it's the 3 amigos who certainly were the top fundraiser. They actually raised over $10,000 every year. I mean, they've been amazing, and then they did win. And I'm trying to think, this is terrible. I can't remember who the star was that raced with them this year. Anyway, they're 2 different team videos so that you can see slightly different aspects. The games are similar every year, but each checkpoint is different. I mean, you're going to be making an idiot of yourself. You're going to be dressing up in costume and performing on a stage, and in front of industry judges, and you're going to be making a movie with the film industry, and skipping through the marketplace, maybe wearing a tutu in front of hundreds of market shoppers.
Sounds like a Saturday night to me, Gillian. I'm used to it. It's all good. I'll be looking forward to it.
That'd be great. I'm really thrilled you are coming. And everybody who's listening, go in and help Survivor Oz team raise some money. Just go click. Very easy. RealityRally.com. And go to teams, click Survivor Oz, and toss in a few bucks.
And we will have the link on the post on our website, which is up right now as well. Gillian, I have to say thank you very much for this. Always a pleasure having you on this birthday episode. Thank you very much for everything that you've done for us over the years and helped us out, obviously, right back to 24th of October 2011. And look, we're going to be talking a lot between now and April next year, and then we're going to get the opportunity to do this in person too next year in Temecula. So I'm very much looking forward to that, looking forward to meeting with you, chatting with you, and everything else. And from the bottom of my heart, once again, Gillian, thank you so much for everything that you've done for us over the years. It's been a whole great deal to me.
Well, you're welcome. And I'll add one more thing is, the other thing that you, first of all, hopped on an idea, but secondly, what you did was you're a good interviewer. If you weren't good at what you did, you would not be carrying on doing it, because the word would spread like, oh, good grief, I don't like interviewing with that person. So, but you're a very good interviewer, so you do a good job. So get ready. I'm going to have you actually on live stream doing some of the interviews with some of the other people. So get ready. I'm going to be using you over the weekend. So
I'm happy to be used, Gillian. I'm happy to be used. Use me as much as you like.
And thank you for the time again. And hi, Australia and everywhere else that's listening. And check it out, realityrally.com, April 7th, 8th, and 9th, 2016.